Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we are going to talk about something that everybody wants to hear about, right? Which is what is happening in the market right now and what are the three emerging strategies. So, you should have been able to download the PDF here at the beginning of the week. And it's really about taking some notes today. And also, I have an article in there that I wrote about what is happening today in the market. So first of all, I want to say that it is actually really a time of change, right? There's no news there, but the good thing about it is not what people think, in my opinion. And I've been in this business for a very long time, for over 30 years, as a lot of you know. And so I feel like I have a very good pulse on the different changes that happen in the industry, especially when it comes to real estate. And it is actually kind of funny because Liz, my daughter, she actually gave me for Christmas. I want to show you this a crystal ball because she said, you always have a good pulse on what is going on in the real estate industry. So obviously things change, right? We get curveballs. So we have things that happen like with COVID or when 9/11 happened that is unpredictable. It happened quite suddenly. So things change as we see. But from what I'm seeing right now, where we start with things, I think that because we are in a much different position than we were like 15 years ago when we had 2007, we're not going to see the crash, we're not going to see the housing bubble burst, as they say, nothing of that. Because number one, we are very well funded right now financially. The banks have learned their lessons. The mortgage industry has learned their lessons from 20 years ago, and they're not going to let us go down that slide again. So, with that said, we're well funded. Also, because there is more a globalization of the markets, financials and otherwise, where there is more of this exchange worldwide of money and goods and stuff like that. There is a lot of investments that cross borders all the time. So we get a lot of investments from our countries into United States. That's why there is really this movement of money. The other thing that's happening as well is there is low inventory. Regardless of what's happening, there is really low inventory of properties. The population is growing, and now we had the millennials entering the market a few years ago and really wanting to buy a property or a house instead of renting. So there has been a little bit of a cultural change, a society awareness where these millennials are looking to buy with a rent. Even the rental market is really, really becoming, getting a lot of traction here. So a low inventory. That's why you probably are noticing that even with the changes in interest rates and everything else going on, the prices are not dropping really that much. Yeah, they're adjusting, but we're not seeing those tanking dropping 10-20%, right? Because the inventory, supply and demand, there is still pretty high. It is keeping properties more on the affordable index, though, because not a lot of people can afford $1 million homes. But the thing is, that's what is holding prices back more than anything else. Now, last but not least, we're also seeing big changes in the technology and AI, artificial intelligence, especially when applies to real estate. Okay, because again, with COVID and remote working and social distancing and trying to do things more on a virtual level, it has created this unique opportunity for AI and artificial intelligence, even when it comes to real estate. So we have a lot of things right now. It's kind of a perfect storm of situations that is creating these unique opportunities in real estate. And therefore, as investors, if you know how to position yourself, you know what the market is doing and how to take advantage of the market, you can't go wrong. Okay, you cannot go wrong because as a real estate investor, either a wholesaler, a flipper, or a landlord, you're providing inventory. right? Much needed inventory. You're going out there and looking for properties that do need work and get them fixed up and sell them or rent them, right? As a wholesaler, you're looking for scouting for these properties that do need work so you can provide inventory for the rehabber and landlord so they can do their thing, right? So that's the thing. Now, the other thing that's happening is, because of the financial markets and the money, there is a really good, strong underground industry of private lending that's happening. Okay. And that is really going to be the backbone here moving forward with real estate. So now let me get into the three strategies that are emerging that I think as an investor you need to pay attention to. Number one is really structuring deals in a way that is, making sense for you as an investor, and also because not being able, even the private money sector right now is, the interest rates and what they want because they know people need their money more than going to the bank because the banks are getting really high in their rates and their requirements, justly so, because obviously they don't want to repeat 2007. So one of the things that I have done, that I started actually doing fix and flip back 30 years ago, is using OPM with OPR. Okay, over people money with over people resources. So really be clever in structuring deals where you can use seller financing to finance the property, use contractors to help you with getting the work done, and then basically sell the property or refinance it without really coming up with money out of your pocket or private lender. So how does that work exactly? So let me give you an example. So you come across this property, and let me give you a real example I did. So the first time I did this, and I've done it in the beginning, I don't necessarily do need to do it anymore now. But in the beginning, when I had very limited resources, that's what I did. So I came up with this property for about, it was a single family, 2-bedroom home for about $40,000. Needed about $20,000 to $30,000 worth of work, but the property was worth about in the low hundreds. So I was able to get the seller to agree to give me seller for financing for the $40,000. So I secure the financing for 6 months. The seller says, okay, I'll finance him. But also, I had him agree not to make payments every month. But at the end of the 6 months, I was going to give him a little bit extra. Instead of the 40,000, I made an agreement. I think it was 42 or 43. So basically, no payments and for 6 months. Now, as far as getting the work done, I found a contractor, and he quoted me about $10,000 in labor. But instead of paying for the labor up front, I made again another agreement with him where I basically said, okay, I'm going to give you 12,000, but can you get paid when I sell the property, in a few months? But you need a couple of $1,000 up front, at least to put gas in the car or whatever. I decided to do that, but I also was going to pay him a little more too, like I did with the seller financing. Now, as far as the materials and the supplies, I went to Home Depot, literally got one of their credit cards accounts, and also you get a contractor discount, which is good. And I used that and made the minimum payment on the credit cards. So by using these three ways, I was able to go ahead and do 100% financing, including the without using outside private money. So I've done that several times starting out to really get me going. So that's something that I suggest to students right now to do that again. And I have several really getting into this type of doing things. Another emerging strategies is arbitrage, or doing like sublease, sandwich lease options. So basically renting a property out, you rent a property and then you sublease it or arbitrage it, as they call it nowadays, to somebody else. So let's say you rent this property for 1,000 and you do an arbitrage for 1,200 to another tenant. This works particularly well with short-term rentals like Airbnbs or midterms, right? 3 month midterms is up to a year, 1 month to a year. And it can work for long term as well, but the thing arbitrage is basically another version of sandwich lease option, which is done more for long term rentals. The third one is emerging strategy right now. If you are in a position to be a private lender, you have money, IRA, 401ks, and so forth. A lot of it really goes into right now electing to do self-directed IRAs. Self-directed IRAs where you can loan money or borrow money for real estate is getting really huge. Self-directed trustees are really getting super busy right now because people sit on money that they're not really using in these IRAs, and it's better to use that at much better rates right now and move this money, creating opportunities in inventory in the market via fix and flips or rentals. So that's the thing that is really moving right now. So summarizing that, there is OPM with OPR, right? So in creating financing, and you can do it, especially on properties that need a lot of work, and the sellers are willing to go out their way, especially if you're going to get a little more for the property at the end of that. There is the arbitrage or sandwich lease options. And last but not least is the private lending, either becoming a private lenders or really know how to meet up with people that have the money and become basically you working with them and loaning their money out as a hard money lender does. Because hard money lenders, at the end of the day, they just know people with money. It's not necessarily their money they're loaning out. They just know people with money that they can do this with, right? So that's how basically I wanted to go over what is going on in the market, the three emerging strategies. And like I said, I'm looking here, you've got the PDF. You should have received that at the beginning of the week, and you can download it from the link at the beginning of the week in the Facebook group or LinkedIn group and so forth. And we broadcast in all the major channels. We're out there with Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and so forth. So we post a link to this PDF to download in any of the channels. And there is an article in there also that goes a little more in details about what is going on in the markets. Now, one of the things I know I'm told that there is a raffle that I'm supposed to be talking about today. So the raffle here is, and let me see if I can see more about, hold on. Okay. And let's see. Bear with me. I'm not as technically savvy as Liz is. So let me see here what we got. Okay. So there was a raffle posted it, and the raffle winner is Camila Arias. Camila Arias, are you here? Go ahead and type in the chat. I should be able to see most of the chats here streaming through. But Camila Arias is the winner of this raffle for this week. So now it's like I said, do you have any questions about these emerging markets? I should be able to see the stream. So first of all, can you put a comment here and let me see if I can see anything coming through? And then see if you have any questions or comments or what is going on in the industry. So, by the way, while we talk about this, I want to say we had an amazing retreat event this last weekend in Fort Lauderdale. So, thanks for everybody that was there. We had all the coaches presenting what was their number one strategy right now. So, there was a lot of great input. One of them was about innovations, and I'm not going to go into that today because it could be very confusing. But that's a really, really cool strategies, especially if you have somebody that wants full price on their property. So we had private lenders there. We talk a lot about financing and private lending. We had arbitrage as Airbnb. We have one of the students and past students and now a coach that specializes in Airbnb and arbitrage. So we had a lot of great input. So everybody's there. Thank you. The next event will be middle of October. So we're going to probably start putting it out there in the next, by the end of June for sure. And it's going to be middle of October at the same location, in Fort Lauderdale, from October 13th to the 15th, I believe. So stay tuned for more information on that, and hopefully you can attend that event if you didn't make the last one. And if you made the last one, obviously you're welcome to come back. Okay. So great. Well, thanks everybody for being here today. Hopefully, I gave you, I know it was short and sweet, but I just wanted to give you some information on these emerging strategies. And then you can also get more information at our website, realestateinvestingwomen.com. I post a blog every week, which I personally write, by the way. I love writing the blogs. So we post blogs every week on a topic that I see a lot of demand about. Great. Now, as far as the raffle, Camilla, you need to send it to questions@realestateinvestingwomen.com. Questions@realestateinvestingwomen.com. Great. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you soon. Take care.